What's going on, guys? 68 Charger here. Welcome back to the page. On this episode, I'm going to be installing some Procar Lowback bucket seats. Let me know if you have any questions, and as always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, so these are the seats I'm going to be removing. They were Jags racing seats. I've had them for about 15 years, and as you can see, they're pretty torn already. They're pretty worn out. I tore this up pretty much like right after I got them, so that really upset me. A thing that I really wasn't very comfortable with was the universal brackets that I bought. As you can see, this seat has a lot of play, so I want to make sure that my new seats are secure and that they feel a little bit more snug. So anyway, let's go ahead and get rid of this guy, and then we can start installing the seats over here. This is going to be a super easy removal. I just have to take off these 4 bolts right here, or these 4 lug nuts right here. 1, 2, and then 3, and 1 back here, 4 right here. So I just removed the 4 lug nuts, and this seat is ready to come out. So let's go ahead and take this out and see what we're getting ourselves into. One of the things that I did want to mention is I did end up getting some new seat belts, so I can't wait to put those on. And then I do have new Procar bracket for 68 B bodies that we can put in there so that we can get this seat started. So before starting anything, I'm going to go ahead and vacuum this carpet out and make sure it's really clean before we start doing anything else with the install. So I decided to test fit this bracket, and as you can see, it lines up here, but whenever I come over here, you can see how off this bolt is right here. So this is one of the things that I read in the reviews. They don't always line up, and there has to be some modification. So at this point, before I keep going forward, I'm gonna have to remove all this right here and remove the carpet so that I can get to the bottom and drill some clean holes and make sure that they're secured the right way so that the seat is safe. There's the 4 holes. Luckily, these 2 are reinforced at the bottom, and then these are reinforced at the top. So I'm gonna be able to drill some new holes and stay within those brackets. That way the seat remains safe. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that. So it's getting a little bit difficult to do this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the other seat as well and remove the console. That way I can move the carpet all the way out of the way so that I can know exactly what I'm getting myself into. So it seems like it's gonna be the same on both sides. The holes on the outside or the inside align, but I'm gonna use the outside as the guide. That way they're a little bit farther away from the console, so I have a little bit more room. So this one lines up, time to do the other one. So everything lines up now. Next steps to do is just to put the carpet back on, and then just cut the little holes out and start putting the brackets on. So I just finished bolting on these brackets, but I left them on just a little bit loose. That way I can adjust them in case the seats are a little bit off. So let's go ahead and start putting the seats together. So one of the things that I wanted to avoid doing that I had to do was I had to make these holes just a little bit wider because they just were a little bit off and they weren't lining up. So I made them a little bit wider. I'm gonna see if they actually bolt on now. And so hopefully it works. So that seemed to work. I got the left side on, so now it's time to put on the right side. So now let's move on to this side. So I was finally able to bolt on the sliders, and they work really well. So whenever I do this, they do slide. So the next step is just putting it into the car so we can get the seat adjusted. Another issue that I'm running into right now is I was trying to put it on the bracket, and as you can see, it's just a little bit longer than it needs to be. So I'm gonna have to shave some of this off on this side so that it actually slides in and I can put it in place. So I had to do the same thing that I did on the driver's side seats, and I made these holes just a little bit bigger. That way they actually align with these holes right here because these were actually too short for this one. I just finished putting on the sliders on the passenger side seat, and one of the issues that I'm running into is I think this cable is just a little bit too long, because whenever I do that, it clears it on this side of the slider, but on this side, it does not clear it. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to make this just a little bit shorter. That way it gets a full pull. I was able to manipulate the wire a little bit, so now whenever I do this, I get enough clearance to be able to move the seat forwards and backwards. And I did just check the passenger or the driver's seat, and it has the same issue. So I'm about to do that to the driver's side as well. So in order to be able to fit the brackets onto the slider, I'm gonna have to grind it a little bit. So I just did a little bit of grinding on that one. I'm about to do the same for this one and see if we can make the sliders fit on this bracket so that I can put the seats on. So I was able to put on the bolts that go onto the brackets that bolt onto the sliders. As you can see, there we go, they're all set up. And so the next thing that I want to do is just tighten these bolts so that the seat is good to go. I just finished installing the driver's side seat. Next thing to do is just to put on the new seat belts, and then I can move over to the passenger side. So I just finished installing the driver's side seat and the seat belt. At this point, I'm gonna start going over to the passenger side and grind a little bit off the bracket so that I can put the sliders in. And so at that point, I should be doing the exact same thing I did on this side and be done for the day. So I just finished putting on the passenger side seat, and I also put on the new seat belts that you can see right there. So at this point, I just need to put the car back together, and then I'm gonna be done with this project. All right, new seats are in, console is in. Overall, I'm very happy with the results. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions.